How's it going, everybody? It's C for Cookies, or I'm from Ellen here. Before I start this video off, yes, I am wearing a Christmas shirt, but it's the only bigger shirt that I could find because I wanted to be comfortable. But today's video, I wanted to do tips for junior high because, for a few reasons actually, because I'm starting high school, grade 11, this Tuesday coming up. And I was going to do another, like a part 2 to Trinity's video, but I didn't want to do high school because I'm still in it, and I didn't think I was qualified enough to make a video about high school tips. But junior high, I'm finished. Have been for like a full year now. So yeah, I'm going to be doing 5 tips for junior high if you're just starting it out or if you're going into it for a second or third year. Okay, so let's get into it. I have my tips right here on my handy dandy iPhone, which you cannot see because I guarantee it'll be too bright, but that's okay. So, tip 1 I have is stay organized. This one is kind of just an overall tip that helps me mostly, but can also help you. I like to say stay organized because it'll make it a lot easier for you if you stay organized with what you're doing, if you have separate binders for each class. That's just what I prefer to do. You can have all of your stuff in one big binder, but what generally does end up happening is that everything gets crammed in and you put things in wrong spaces and in different dividers that they're not supposed to be in, different sections, and it just becomes a mess. So what I like to do to stay more organized is to have separate binders for each class, or if you don't want that many binders to carry around, because I know junior high can be very stressful that way, where you have to carry around a lot of binders to each class. Have like, because you have all your cores, I would say have 2 binders for all your cores. Say put social and science together and then math and English, or however you want to group it. And then, or however your schedule makes more sense for you to group it. Like if you have social and then math right next to each other, then I would put social and math together, and then it's more organized and you can just carry one big binder for those both classes, and then you don't have to worry about carrying around 2 smaller binders. So that's just what I like to do. Also, you can make sure your locker's organized by using locker shelves, having your schedule up in your locker, obviously. Trying to think, having like a separate, not a separate, but for me, for my pencil case, because it has 2 different pouches in it, I have pens in one section, and then I have pencils and like my sharpener in the other section. And then with my pens, I have like whiteout and reinforcements and stuff like that. So that's just stuff that I like to do to stay organized, and it can really help you. My second tip is don't stress yourself out. Junior high is generally a pretty chill 3 years, because here we have it 7, 8, 9, and then high school is 10, 11, 12. I know not all places do that, but that's just how it works for us. So don't stress yourself out. Like for us, or for me where I am, junior high was really chill. Like classes, you had to try, but if you didn't pass it, then you kind of just passed the class anyways. Like if you passed class with a 40, or failed class I guess with a 40, you still moved on and up in ranking in classes. So I wouldn't stress yourself out too much about classes. Like if you have a really big test, obviously study for it, but don't completely stress yourself out. Don't over study for it. Just don't stress out. Like it's just a really simple thing, but it's hard to do sometimes, especially if you have high expectations from your parents, or if you have another sibling, like an older brother or sister that did really well in classes, and you have a lot of expectation to do just as well as them. It's a lot of stuff that I never had to deal with, luckily, but I know if you do have to deal with it, then it can be very stressful, and I'm not going to say just throw that all away, because that's not good. But just try not to stress yourself out. Just take every moment, every day, step by step, take baby steps to do stuff, and it'll go a lot smoother, and yeah. My third tip is to make goals. Knowing from experience, junior high is a lot easier if you make goals. One example of how you can make goals is if, say, in math, you're not very good at math. like I am. If on one test you get a 50 and you're not very happy with it, but you passed, and you're like, oh man, well, I didn't really do very good on this test, and I would like to bring my grade up because say your grade is like a 55 or something on an average, and you're like, oh man, I would like to bring my grade up, but I can't because I'm not good at math. One thing that you can do for yourself is make a goal. Make a goal to do a little bit better on the test, not like 20% better, but say, okay, I'm gonna study, my test is on, let's say, the 18th, and it's the 10th today. I'm gonna study for 2 hours every night, on one particular subject each night, and then once I have a grasp on that subject, I can move on, and then hopefully that'll allow me to do a little bit better on the next test. That's just one example of how you can set a goal, is just studying a little bit better. Not better, but studying a little bit more efficiently, I guess, like making cue cards for each subject so that you can study one subject each night, and then that could be a goal. And then hopefully on the next test you can get a little bit better, and maybe instead of getting a 50 you'll get a 55, and then eventually, if you just keep that up, your next goal can be, okay, I want to get a 60 on the next test, and then if you don't think you can do a lot better, you can set a goal for, maybe I want to get 62 on the next test. You're just like, set little goals for yourself. I'm not saying you have to set like huge, ginormous goals for yourself, but just from experience, it'll make your life a little bit easier if you set just small goals for yourself. And like I said, if just the goals are, I got a 50 on this test, so maybe I want to get a 53 on the next test. Like, that's just a small goal, and that can really help you out in the long run. My fourth tip for you is find your group of friends. For me, I was coming from a school in a different city, I guess, a different town, still in the same province, but just a different town. And then we lived here where I'm living now, but my mom didn't want to pull me out of elementary school, so she let me stay. So I was coming from an elementary school out of the city to a place here where I didn't know anybody, and junior high was a little bit easier, but it definitely helped me to find my group of friends. And it was within the first couple weeks that I found some people that I was comfortable around, and I had classes together, because for me in junior high we had homerooms, so that was kind of just like you had a homeroom that you had all of your core classes with, those same people that were in your homeroom. So it was a lot easier to find my group of friends within that homeroom, and I stuck with them throughout all of junior high, which was a lot easier, and it made junior high a lot easier for me, and it made it go a little bit more smoother, because having classes with friends is always more fun. And chances are, if you find your group of friends in junior high, it'll take stress off of you. First of all, you won't be as stressed about it because you can talk it over with friends, and for the second thing, it's more than likely that you're all going to go to the same high school. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, because I think I had one or two friends that went to a different high school rather than the one that I went to, but most likely the majority of friends that you have are going to go to the same high school. So that'll make it a lot easier. You won't have to worry about finding a new group of friends in high school. Of course, there is that odd chance, or there is a chance that your friends won't, and that sucks, but then again, it's the same for high school. You just find your group of friends and it'll go a lot smoother. And my last tip is obviously something really, really simplistic, but it's just work hard with what you do. In all of your classes, with the small goals that you make, don't just make the goals and then say, oh, I didn't do it this time, so I'm not going to bother doing it because it won't work. You have to work hard in order to get what you want, and I know that sounds really cliche and really stupid, but it does help. And take it from somebody that knows, because throughout junior high I really did not work as hard as I could have. I really didn't. I was like, okay, I pass all my classes whether or not I fail. Like, if I get a 40, I still pass the class, which is a bad system, but it's the way it worked for us. So it didn't let me work as hard as I could have. It didn't let me work to my potential. So I didn't get the grades that I wanted. So just take it from somebody that knows. Work as hard as you can to get to where you want to be, in even though it's just junior high, because high school is a lot more complicated. There's a lot more requirements for the classes that you want, and it's just, plus in high school, if you don't pass a class, you will have to redo it, whether in summer school or the next year. So it is a lot harder in high school. So if you get used to working as hard in junior high, then high school won't be that different for you. It'll be just a ranking higher. Like, it won't be that much different. So it'll be stuff you're already used to, and it won't be that hard to adjust for it. So yeah, these have been my 5 tips for junior high if you're starting out or if you're going back again. These tips kind of sucked now that I'm actually recording the video. They're kind of just like cliche things, but I'm hoping that it helped you. And yeah, if you have, what am I talking about? That is all that I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and in the comments let me know what you think I should do for my next week's video, or what you think Trinity and I should do for our group video, and we will get to it eventually. Oh yeah, all of my social medias will be in links in the description below, so you can go click on those. They're great, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out from Cookies.